Welcome to Southwest. I'm Anusha Ravi Sood. The results of Lok Sabha election 2024 are in, and contrary to all popular predictions, whether it is exit poll, whether it is the screeching anchor sitting on television channels based out of Delhi, people of India have decided to throw a wrench in the plans of the BJP that was hoping for a 400 plus with the NDA and a smooth move into the third term for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. However, the people of India have decided that they will not give the BJP a brute majority like they did in 2019 and 2014, compelling the BJP to be, if I may say, at the mercy of its allies. And for the first time, you see not a Modi Sarkar, but a coalition Sarkar that is coming forward. The NDA is expected to stake claim to form the government with all their allies in band and to discuss where this government probably is headed towards. I have with me two guests on the show today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Parakala Prabhakar, a renowned economist and author, and may I, to his credit, also add the one person who insisted that this is an election between Narendra Modi and the people of India, and the results seem to have reflected something that he has been observing from a very, very long time. Along with him in the show today is Mr. Vasu Gandikota, the founder and CEO of South First. Let me come to you, Mr. Prabhakar, first. Here is a prime minister whose two terms have been about Modi Sarkar. Even as a prime minister or as the chief minister previously, he's never helmed a coalition government. And now here he is compelled to put himself, if I may say, share the stage with more leaders from parties who the BJP not necessarily has had a great relationship. How does coalition government work for Narendra Modi?
Anusha, thank you very much for having me on the show. And hello, Vasu. Nice to be with you on the
Hi.
Hi. Um, Anusha, as you very rightly pointed out, Mr. Narendra Modi is not a person who was used to running a coalition, striking bargains, striking compromises, sitting with people, convincing them, bringing them to his point of view, or agreeing to their point of view. You know, in a way, give and take kind of a thing. He's not used to that. He's always had my way or highway kind of a run all these years. Over 2 decades of his political career is marked by that. And, even in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar also, as it is in New Delhi, he never ran a party government, leave alone a coalition government. It was his government. It was Modi Sarkar. The way he wanted. He never had an occasion to answer to anybody, either his seniors or his colleagues. Never, had an occasion to convince people and take them along. They just followed him, and he led the way. So that has been his experience. That's been the record. He's got used to that kind of a thing. Now, today is a very, very different kind of a situation where he's, as you said, he's compelled to share the dais and the stage with other people. My feeling is that he won't be comfortable with that kind of a thing. And nor are the allies going to be comfortable with dealing with a person who had who did ride roughshod over them earlier. And the two politicians who are very, very key personalities in this coalition are Mr. Chandrababu Naidu from Andhra Pradesh and Mr. Nitish Kumar from Bihar. And both of them are very consummate politicians. They are good tacticians, and they had seen both defeats as well as victories. They had seen rough and tumble. They had grown, from a very low level in their political careers to a higher level. It's not like Narendra Modi, who just straight away came and became the chief minister and had everything on his platter, and he had his own way. It's not that. And they hone their skills in compromising, striking bargains, give and take, that kind of a thing. And they also are very seasoned. They know when to strike, when to wait, when to advance, and when to retreat. All these games they have seen, and they know when the opponent is weak, when to pounce on the opponent, that kind of a thing. So keeping all this in view, with Narendra Modi's lack of experience in running coalitions, striking bargains, and these people's experience in that kind of a thing, I think Mr. Narendra Modi will be worn out by these two people, by them making continuous demands, list after list of demands, list after list of wishes. And if 10 are fulfilled, 11th one will come up, and 11 are fulfilled, 12th one might come up, that kind of a thing. And I think Mr. Narendra Modi will be worn out by this kind of a thing, and he's not temperamentally fit to run a government like this. My feeling is that even before he goes to Lok Sabha and seeks a vote of confidence, I mean, he might be sworn as the prime minister by the president once she gets the letter, but then he'll have to prove majority, isn't it? I think that itself is going to be a huge stumbling block for him. I'll be very surprised if he can cross that.
I'm very glad that you brought about
Le-
the key alliance partners that he has, which compels me to go to Mr. Vasu to speak about. We've seen Naidu be the convener of the third front when Deve Gowda became the prime minister. We've seen him work with Vajpayee. In fact, people from the TDP insist and tell me that he expects Mr. Modi to treat him exactly like Vajpayee had. We've on South First, we even have a copy on the same today. So, Mr. Vasu, as somebody who's tracked Naidu's political career, its ups and downs, his accommodations and his demands, what kind of an alliance partner is Naidu set to be to the NDA, especially Mr. Modi and Amit Shah, given his history of discomfort with the two?
Well, if one is to go by his track record, I mean, some call him a reliable partner, some call him a unreliable partner and all that. But at least when he was with Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the last time he was in alliance with the BJP, of course, he was a partner in 2000, from 2014 to 18 as well. I would like to play the devil's advocate to whatever Dr. Prabhakar said. And I would like to ask him, actually, what are the chances of Mr. Narendra Modi dumping both Mr. Naidu and Mr. Nitish Kumar? If information flowing from Delhi is indeed right, the BJP has already started the process of wooing other smaller parties. Now, if Naidu, as he is known to be, as also Nitish, put forward demands that the BJP could potentially see as unreasonable. Now, there are reports that TDP is demanding speaker's post, plum portfolios, and so also Nitish is asking for heavyweight portfolios. Now, if BJP finds all these demands unreasonable, what are the chances of Mr. Modi, sidelining these two and then getting his numbers from somewhere else? Dr. Prabhakar, do you rule out this kind of a situation?
No, I won't rule out Vasu. They will try, but I think it's a very Herculean task because you see, which means that smaller parties, not outside the India alliance, they'll have to poach the India alliance itself.
Correct. That's what I'm suggesting, because there are already reports that Eknath Shinde is moving towards
But Eknath Shinde is not part of India.
No. He's not part of India. He's not part of India that I know. There are reports suggesting that he's moving back to Uddhav Thackeray, who himself is said to be unhappy with Congress for whatever reasons. The reasons are still not clear as yet. So if both of them are there, with assuming they go back to BJP or the NDA, they equal the number that TDP has, which is 16, right? And as you know, in Andhra, Jagan has 4 seats, and Jagan will be too happy to be on the side of BJP for what reasons that I know, everybody knows, right?
If
So my counter question to whatever you said is, given that he is uncomfortable dealing with big partners like Naidu and Nitish, who are not pushovers by any measure, what are the chances of Modi and Mr. Amisha trying to cobble up the numbers with people they are comfortable with?
No, I'm not ruling it out, Vasu.
Mm.
They would like to do that. Probably they are, as you have information that probably such moves are afoot. My point is this. Um, what if there are voices within the BJP that look, if keeping Narendra Modi and Amit Shah is going to be the hurdle to form an NDA government. And it is no a good reason to keep Narendra Modi and Amit Shah and sacrifice the government. So why can't we just ask them to gracefully step aside, and our allies will be comfortable and we will be comfortable and we can form the government. That also can be
Mm.
a very likely scenario.
If we're talking about
Mm.
scenarios, I would like to just jump in. I mean, just going by taking forward from what Mr. Vasu said. If indeed, let's say Shiv Sena is going to now unite, become one, it's only a matter of time, perhaps before NCP also does the same. And if two big Maratha parties or Maharashtra-based parties do come together and decide, you know what, we'll extend outside support. We'll not back the India alliance and we'll extend outside support to the NDA. Why would they not want somebody from Maharashtra like a Nitin Gadkari to be the prime minister? Why somebody from Gujarat, who has the infamy of breaking up those two parties? I'm just talking about scenarios.
Dr. Prabhakar, the essence of what we have discussed thus far is, are we in for some interesting times? Insofar as political machinations or developments, as you would like to call it, or do you expect this NDA coalition to run without any hiccups?
No, I feel that it's not an easy task for the NDA, especially if it is under the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi, to cobble up a government, number one. Even if they do, with Narendra Modi as head of the government, I think it will be very, very difficult for a coalition to go on smoothly without a bumpy ride. And the third thing is that, even if, they cross the first hurdle of, flow test and then run for a while, I think the longevity of the government is in doubt as far as, I can see. And the third thing, which I would push this a bit more and also say that the longevity of the 18th Lok Sabha also is in doubt. To me, I don't think it is likely to run its full course, full term of 5 years.
What you're
We, we,
suggesting,
Oh,
what
we
you're
might be
suggesting are midway polls, are
yeah,
midterm
I,
polls.
I'm looking at the possibility of a midterm. It need not be at a midpoint, it could be earlier also.
And here we
no,
were
that's
discussing
pretty.
in the country one nation, one election. But right after the election, you're predicting that there could be very midterm polls that are far too early in the day.
There is,
So,
there is
are we to imply in such a situation, Dr. Prabhakar, are we to imply that the BJP's agenda or Modi's agenda, whether it is one nation, one poll, whether it is CAA, whether it is delimitation, all this will be put on the back burner? Or it will be impossible for them to go ahead with any of these things?
no, you see, now until the next elections, it will be
Hmm.
very difficult for any clear agenda to be pursued by the government, especially the agenda of somebody like Mr. Narendra Modi.
Okay.
So I don't see a possibility of one nation, one election, and all those kind of things, or even CAA and NRC kind of things and other temples, Kashi, Mathura kind of a thing. Those agendas, I think they'll have to be shelved. I don't
If
think they're
any,
going to go.
if the last
I don't know if you have, Anusha, if you have heard, just today in the afternoon, the JDU spokesperson has already appealed to the government that they
Yes,
take
to
a.
reconsider Agnivir.
No, precisely. That's what I was getting at. If the last 48 hours are anything to go by, it's very clear that the alliance partners are not going to nod in agreement to everything that the BJP has as plans, whether it is Agniveer. Let's also remember Mr. Naidu himself was very categorical during the campaign of Andhra Pradesh election that he will not at any cost allow for 4% reservations to Muslims to be taken away, which was the primary poll plank of the BJP, led by the Prime Minister himself. Just to take the conversation forward, let's say, okay, no matter how tumultuous it is, this government is perhaps going to go ahead. Let's assume that, contrary to what Mr. Prabhakar has doubts about, but that Mr. Modi is able to prove his majority in the House. What will this government look like, this coalition government look like? We have an alliance partner who's from the south, who has the second largest number of seats in the NDA. There is delimitation exercise that is impending on us. We have the third largest partner, who's Nitish Kumar, who's under whose government the caste census was made public. Now, that is also a subject on which the BJP has had very strong reservations. Like you pointed out, there is already disagreement about Agniveer scheme. Is it going to be a government of contradictions for however long it is going to be around? Mr. Prabhakar, if you can take that question.
Anusha, that's a very important point. I've been pointing from the beginning that the NDA, if you look at NDA, not a single party which is a part of the NDA is an ideological ally of the BJP. They are there. The partnership is only a contextual partnership or transactional partnership. It could be Chandrababu Naidu, it could be Nitish Kumar, it could be any other partner from anywhere in the country. Even if they, as Vasu suggested, even if they're picking up some other parties and groups, they are also no longer, it's not like the Shiv Sena of Bal Thackeray, which was an ideological ally. Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena is a transformed kind of a Shiv Sena. So that is also not going to be an ideological partner, which would stand by BJP in their pursuit of the agenda that they have set out to. Having said that, let me also say that, at every major point, you've already, listed out some, and many more. At every major point, there is going to be bound to be a clash between the BJP and the alliance partners. Either a clash on the agenda proposed by BJP or clash on the agenda proposed either by JDU or TDP. So the clash could be both the ways, because you see when TDP comes, remember TDP, as Vasu pointed out, TDP was part of NDA. It walked out in 2018 for, among other reasons. The primary reason, most important reason, was the conferring of special category status to Andhra Pradesh. Now, if Naidu goes back to NDA and agrees to back the government or be part of the government, and if he goes back to Amravati, Vijayawada, without a substantial, credible promise of special category status, how will he explain he's going back? Number one. And if the BJP government at the center promises special category status to Andhra Pradesh, then the demand also comes from Bihar and probably any other state or one or two more states also. Then,
sorry for the interjection, Dr. Prabhakar. Well, it could come from, say, the Hyderabad, Karnataka of Karnataka.
Yes.
the backward region, and you have backward regions even in Maharashtra.
Exactly. And you see, not only demand for special category status, Vasu, there could be objections to granting special category status to certain states from other states, neighboring states, for instance. They may not be
Exactly.
openly objecting to it, but in the negotiations, in backdoor background meetings, etc., there could be a lot of wrangling about that. So this is one. The second thing is, once the center weakens, as it is today, there is one UP partner uh, with one seat.
Apna Dal.
And, sorry?
Is it Apna Dal?
Not another. There's one more. That particular party is also with one seat. No, I think it's Maji from Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah.
He is also demanding a cabinet berth and also specifying this particular department, but this particular ministry. So everybody can go on demanding things, and the wish list can go longer and longer and longer. This is another one. So when Mr. Modi's so far has been a very ideological driven kind of a persona, and his administration so far. So if it were to be an NDA like the Vajpayee NDA, where substantial issues were put on the back burner or even taken out of the agenda, if that is the case, would that be possible with Ms. Narendra Modi? We have to see that. And to me, if you ask me, for somebody like Narendra Modi to transform himself overnight into a Vajpayee kind of a consensus builder is inconceivable to me.
Well, but it can't be a case of Modi ka guarantee anymore. As you said, it can't be a case of even BJP ka guarantee anymore. It has to be, at best, NDA ka guarantee, right?
A common minimum program, yeah.
In which case, you need to accommodate the concerns, you need to accommodate the policies of TDP, JDU, God knows who else. It can't be, the exclusive agenda of BJP. That's pretty clear.
Yes.
But I am now coming to the larger question, keeping aside the numbers, how long the government lasts, etc., etc. One of the concerns that most people, most Democrats, including you, or rather you were there, leading the bunch, was the concern regarding what all of you have seen as excesses during the previous government, right? Whether it is in regard to using investigative agencies against political rivals, jailing political activists, etc., etc. Now, do you think, apart from bargaining for what they want, are Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar the real checks for the excesses that we have seen during the previous government? Or you don't see them bothering too much about these issues, and BJP continuing with what it did earlier?
My feeling, Vasu, is that these two will definitely be a check on the unbridled exercise of power. Not because they are in sympathy with the social or political activists who are going to be under arrest or under threat. May not be because of that, but the very fact that they would like to put a check on the unbridled exercise of power by the Prime Minister and the BJP leadership, that itself. Because you see, if they don't check, and if that continues, tomorrow the same thing could be used by the government and the Prime Minister against them also. So I think from day one onwards, I think that kind of a check will be placed on the government and the Prime Minister.
Now, who would know that better than Mr. Chandrababu Naidu? It's not even been a year since he was incarcerated. He's come out and he's won an election, and perhaps he understands the importance of liberty and the limits in political competition quite well. I'm so sorry, I'm running out of time. I'm sure there was so many things as far as this topic is concerned to discuss. But thank you very much for your time, Dr. Prabhakar. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Vasu. Overall, like we've pointed out, it seems like a government of contradictions, and Mr. Modi finds himself in unfamiliar waters, something that he's never done in the past. And now it is the entire stability of this government perhaps depends entirely on how much he can accommodate his alliance partners, something he's never done in the past. So interesting days ahead. Thank you so much for your time. And we at South First will keep a tab on how things end up. And as Mr. Prabhakar said, if there is going to be midterm elections way before midterms, then that's also a possibility that many people are considering. Thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you.
Anusha.
Thank you.